So Hillary Clinton at home today recovering from pneumonia. She left yesterday's 9/11 memorial early because she wasn't feeling well, which has been well documented over the weekend. But now there's the debate over whether she and Donald Trump should have to disclose their personal, detailed medical records to the public. Katie Pavlich is news editor for townhall.com and a Fox News contributor. Marianne Marsh is former senior advisor to John Kerry. Welcome to you both. Good to have you here this morning.
Good morning.
Marianne, let's start with you. Do you think that everybody should have to release everything from their medical records?
Well, I think everybody should release more. And Hillary Clinton's far ahead of Donald Trump in terms of being transparent about her health records. Her doctor put out a memo, listed a number of things in there. Donald Trump obviously had that crazy little letter that we've seen, and now going on Dr. Oz, as Jennifer Griffith reported earlier today, to talk about his health. So I think it'll be very interesting to see what Donald Trump chooses to release and how credible a source it is.
Katie, what do you think?
I think both candidates should be more transparent about their health as well. And I particularly think this is the reason because both of these candidates, Trump and Clinton, are running to be the president of the United States, meaning they're going to, either one of them, whoever wins, is going to have the future of the country in their hands. And the American people have a right to know what their status is, what they're capable of doing, and their health. And this isn't about trying to pick and choose or speculate about one's health. We're all human, including Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. But the American people do have the right to know who they're voting for, who they're putting in charge. And this is the ultimate background check in terms of running for president and wanting to represent the people in this country. People have done it before. John McCain allowed reporters to look through hundreds of pages of his health records. George W. Bush released thousands of pages of his health records. This is not something that should be controversial and something that should be transparent for voters before Election Day.
I just wonder, just to put out sort of a different perspective on this, how much, of this is age or health discrimination? I mean, look at JFK and FDR, okay? I mean, these two individuals perhaps had the most serious health problems of any presidents that we have had, okay? JFK was a young man. He suffered from Addison's disease. He took a ton of medication. And both of them, regardless of your politics, and you may agree or disagree, are considered, two of the stronger, better presidents that we've had in this country. You can't judge how long someone's going to live or how healthy they're going to be by looking at their medical records today. You could be hit by a bus tomorrow. You could fall from a heart attack a week later. I mean, I just don't know how fair really all of this is, Marianne. What do you think about that?
I completely agree with you. And I think here's the real issue here, Martha, is what is the pattern here? And on the things that most presidents and presidential candidates have revealed and shared with the public has been health records and taxes. Hillary Clinton has done both. Donald Trump has done neither. And I think that's the real issue here. And I think to David Axelrod's tweet, which you reported on a little earlier in here, I mean, Barack Obama shared even less than Hillary Clinton, less than Donald Trump. A letter barely. Why? Because he was 47 years old. Now, that said, he had been a lifelong smoker at that point. So there are lots of issues here, and I think you have to really look at the whole package.
When I look at this stuff, I look at John McCain's mother. Okay, she's in her well over 100, right? So when I heard that about John McCain, I thought, well, let's look at the family, because I think this is maybe a family that lives a very long time and does very well. I think age is not necessarily relevant, Katie. So I'm just wondering if these candidates should push back on this a little bit and say.
I'm not so sure it's necessarily just about the health issue rather than an overall picture of who they're voting for. And I think that's a fair thing for them to ask for. They want to know the complete picture of the candidates that are on the presidential ballot at this point. And I think they deserve to know their background, whether it's on policy or whether it's personally. And yes, we can't predict the future. We cannot decide when someone is going to keel over, and hopefully that is not the case for either one of them. But I do think that in the overall picture of people knowing who they're voting for, who is going to lead this country into the next 4 years is important. And I don't think it's defining necessarily, but I do think it's part of the overall picture.
I mean, you could argue that policy and integrity, as I think you are partly arguing right now, are the most important things, right? Honesty, integrity, policy, all of these things matter. And I think, in terms of the other big disclosure issue that we're talking about, taxes, I mean, I think a lot of people say, so what if Donald Trump, he's run a private company, he's a private individual. If he doesn't want to reveal his taxes, that's his choice. If people don't like it, they don't have to vote for him. But it is his choice, Marianne. Just because other people have done it before doesn't mean you have to.
Well, 2 points here, Martha. I think on the tax issue, we have a question about his relationship with Putin and Russia. His son, Donald Trump Jr., publicly said that their company, their private company, had way too many investments from Russia back a few years ago. So I think given all that, that's an important factor. The other thing I would point to here is the fact that Donald Trump has used words throughout this campaign about Hillary Clinton. Weak, sleeping, not on the trail, doing all those things. And that's very gender driven. But I would make one other point. In any campaign, often candidates will say things about,
sexist.
well, and often in campaigns, candidates will also often say something about their opponent, which is actually true about them, to distract you from that. So if you take all the things Donald Trump says about Hillary Clinton's energy level, her schedule, and all that, and apply it to him, which I wish the media would, I think you would be interested to find the real facts there. And I think her schedule is far more punishing than Donald Trump's.
All right,
Donald Trump called Jeb Bush low
I think her schedule is much tougher than his.
We'll continue this conversation, ladies. Always good to have you both here. Katie and Marianne, thanks a lot.
Nice to be back. Thanks.